Okay, straight on to the first watch review of 2022.
Think.
There's three main places I buy watches from. I buy them from high street stores, I buy them from micro brands, and I buy them directly from China. So, Homages, which is a watch that's been inspired by a famous watch.
A $15,000 Rolex!
And made into a watch. Not a fake or a copy, it's branded with the manufacturer's branding and things like that, but they've clearly been inspired by very famous watches. They're homages and they mainly come from China, and there's some excellent ones which we will get into. High street stores, you all know, you can go in, buy a watch, as long as it's not Rolex, and then you're on a multi-year waiting list. But for average watches, you can go in and buy a watch, Seikos and Citizens and whatever you like. And then there's micro brands, and if you're not familiar with micro brands, they are small companies.
This is the greatest company in the world!
That source parts, so movements and bits and pieces from elsewhere. They'll design the watch themselves, probably do mock-ups and prototypes and things like that, and then usually either manufacture them themselves or have them manufactured elsewhere to have a watch that's unique design to them, but is at an affordable price.
I see your value now.
So today we're going to look at a micro brand, a new one for me, but I'm really interested in them, and I think I'll definitely be doing more business with them. They're a watch brand called Geckota. Now, Geckota is very close to where I live. I live in Bristol, UK, and this company is in Gloucestershire, Tewkesbury, Gloucestershire, which is very close to where I am. It's a very small company. They have a great range of watches. I'll put loads of links down below so you can have a look.
I like pretty things and I like fancy things.
And I was looking at them and thought, yeah, these are the kind of watches I really like. I had some money ready to buy a watch that I wanted to buy.
Uh-oh. Can't make the scene if you don't have the green.
And they just happened to have a model that I really liked. I like retro styling. I like nice clean finishing. I like interesting movements inside, and they had all of that in one of their particular models. They're always bringing out new models, so yeah, very interesting. Go check them out if you like. So I bought this watch. Their Watch Geckota is a company with multiple brands under their umbrella. So one of their brand is called Geckota.
What did you say?
That's the name of the brand, and they've got a whole range of watches branded Geckota. So this is a Geckota from Watch Geckota, and we're going to have a look at this today and see what you think, whether it's something interesting for you. Just off the bat, this was about £310.
Which means a profit so far this year of 1,800 billion. Splendid!
So quite a lot of money, for me anyway. It's quite a lot of money. I wouldn't pay, well, never say never, but I've never bought a watch more than £500. It's always been under. So this is a lot of money for me. This is not a watch I'm buying regularly. This is kind of a special watch that I'll buy for this price because it has everything in, and it's got the branding that I like and the design that I like. So that's when I will pay a little bit more money for it. So turn the camera around and we'll have a good look. So this is the box. Very nice box. I'm not a big... packaging for me is there to protect the product, but it is nice to have a nice box, but I wouldn't pay more with the option of having an icebox, but this comes as standard.
What are you trying to tell me?
With a very nice box. You get a very good user manual. This is got the movement in, this is a mechanical movement, history of the company, design of the watch, all the settings, how to do the bracelet. You can see the details of the movement there. Very nice, good quality instruction manual. You don't see that from many manufacturers. Something about their business and products.
Oh, wow!
And then you got the watch itself, which is in a box. Let's try and get this out. There we go. So you now have the inner box, which has the watch itself. And there we go. There is the watch.
Whoa!
So it's a 40mm dive watch. It's called the Geckota G-02. This is particularly VO7 model, but they're kind of limited edition. So they'll do a model like this for so many runs, and then they'll stop it, change the model, and then do another 100 runs or so.
I think you're truly something special.
So they are limited edition, which is a nice touch, and it's something micro brands can do, but the big manufacturers can't when they're mass producing these. These are all assembled in the UK, sourced and manufactured in the various partners around the world, and quality control is done in the UK. And we talk about the movement and something I suspect about the watch itself when it comes from the micro brand. So take the watch out. I've sized it to my wrist, so it doesn't really fit the cushion very well. Let's put that to one side. So 40mm dive watch, as I said. This is the blue. Now it is blue, so the very middle dial is a very, very deep dark blue. If you're in sunlight, you can see the blue. If you're in shade, it looks very black. It's very shiny. I don't know if it picks up on the camera, but it looks very, very black in the shade. So when you buy this, don't expect a bright blue watch. This is a very, very dark watch.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And the bezel itself is blue, but it looks very, very black, blacker than the dial, with a slight sheen on it. Something that's a little bit different for this brand is they create the dial, the indices, and the aluminium dial itself with the brushing, etc. on the dial, and then they coat it in a resin. So it's got a lume pip at the top, and then they coat it in a resin. So you can see it's very glossy, very shiny.
Technically speaking, yeah.
And it protects the dial very well from scratches and wear and tear, which is really nice, because they often get scratched on the dials. So that's a nice touch. The indices are all applied, so that means they're actual units of polished metal that are applied to the dial. Normally they've got two little feet that stick through and then soldered or bonded from the back, or sometimes they use a resin on the back just to hold the feet, and you can remove them if you need to replace them, etc. So those are the applied indices. They're polished silver colour, probably polished aluminium with lume filled inside. So each one of those is lumed. So they're cathedral hands with a circular hand with like a syringe needle edge to it. It's very nice that the hand goes right to the edge, so it's very readable, very clear, and distinctive. And the second hand, you can see it's going round. It's got a small spear tip, and then a needle going right to the train track at the edge, which is really nice to see. Okay, we got the date on the right, complication, with a silvered edge around the date, and it's very clear and readable. As I'm getting older, the dates are getting very hard to see. I don't like the Cyclops bubbles that you have on them, but this one is very legible.
Let me put on my slightly larger glasses.
So I like that. On the back, it's a fairly plain back, high gloss polish, with laser etched markings. It's got the specific edition number and the watch number. So this is watch 19 of 75 in this run, which is really nice to differentiate it from all the other watches that are made. The case itself, high quality stainless steel, which is always very popular. We've got high polished outer surfaces. We've got, I don't know if you can see, we've got very fine brushing here. So this is longitudinal brushing, so it's going brushing this way on the scallops. So they've got scallops out here and here. And then they've got brushing on the top of the lugs. But the transition between the top of the lug and the side scallop, you've got a polish there on the edge, which is really nice. So what happens is, it's a trick to the eye.
What's that I see in your ear? Fazal.
If that was all solid, brushed in one tone, that would look like a lot thicker lug. It's hard to see. But when you've got a brushing and then a transition with a polish, and then another brushing down here, it actually makes the look, to the eye, it looks a lot thinner than it would do normally, which is quite nice.
That's really clever.
We'll do some close-up shots in a minute so you can see in detail. We've got the crown. It's a screw-down crown. It's waterproof to 300 meters, and they're all tested in-house. So that's comforting to know. So it's a proper dive watch. We've got a gold, real gold plating, I think, I'm not sure, on the inner of the crown, which is a nice touch. And they've also got, I don't know if you can see it in there, they've got a gold like collet in between the crown and the case when it's fully wound in, which is a nice touch. So this crown guard here protects the crown, but it's nicely balanced with this design on this side, so it gives a very nice symmetrical balanced watch design. I really like it. So we've got the bezel, very nice clicks,
Practically perfect in every way.
very nice action, no play whatsoever. You see a lot of play on cheaper watches, and the alignment is spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Nice.
So that's the watch overall. I'll put it on the wrist. It's got a Jubilee bracelet. Oh, something about a Jubilee bracelet. You see it sags a little bit. It's hard to see on the camera. And that's intentional. So on the Jubilee bracelet, probably can't see it, but there is gaps between the links, which makes it very, supple. But more importantly, those gaps allow your wrist to breathe. So it's a nice touch. So it's a nice small clasp. Some of them are very long, but it's a nice small clasp. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And you can see it sits really well on the wrist. I've got 7-inch wrist circumference, so this suits very well. You could probably go down to 6.5, maybe get away with a 6, or larger, no problem at all. Sits really well. So the clasp itself, all of these aspects are milled. So this is a milled clasp here. This is pressed, which is fine, and it's got Geckota pressed into the clasp, and this is brushed as well in the same very fine brushing. There's 2 micro adjustments. 2's okay. I would have been happy if this was a bit longer and there was 3 to give you that extra bit of comfort, but 2's okay. And very supple. All the links are solid. The pins are screwed. Probably can't see it here. I'll do some close-ups later. They're screw pins, so super easy to remove just with a small screwdriver. And a very satisfying click. Double release. Yeah, very nice. So Watch Gecko are known for their straps. They started off as a strap company, and they have a load of great straps, from NATOs to metal straps. So yeah, check them out there. You can see here we got sapphire crystal. Is flat across, and then but it's domed at the edges. So you got that nice distortion as it goes off the edge, giving it the retro feel. It's got anti-reflective coating on the underside, which helps a lot, and the face itself is a gloss face, plain gloss face, with the details in. Now, inside is a movement called a PT5000.
That is so nice.
It's a high beat, very accurate movement in a watch. It's also got a rotor inside, so it winds itself up as it's on your wrist, so you can manually wind it. Something that's really important on a lot of these dive watches is the screwing crown, the type of thread they use, and the technology for the thread is critical. Some are very difficult to start, some are easy to cross thread, but this is very, very nice. Whatever they've done, maybe it's a multi-start thread, maybe it's a coarse thread, I don't know, but for sure it's extremely well done. Every time, I've never had it fail to engage the first time when I've tried to screw it down, unlike some other watches that we'll talk about another time.
I see.
Screw back case, pretty standard. Easy to maintain, easy to repair. So yeah, a really great high beat movement in a very high quality watch with very high quality finishing, great quality control. I put it on the timer graph, which measures the accuracy of the movement, and the beat error was 0, and the accuracy of the watch was 4 seconds a day.
Oh my god!
Which means if it's got a beat error of 0, beat error is when the watch ticks and tocks in the rotating, when the watch
that doesn't make sense.
When the balance in the watch rotates one way and the other way, if it rotates more one way than the other way, that's called a beat error. And the more difference that is, the higher the beat error. That can affect long-term timing and wear on the watch and balance of the watch and accuracy in different positions. So the idea is to have 0 beat error, which is the same swinging one way and the other for the tick and the tock on the escapement. And this accuracy of 4 seconds a day is absolutely fantastic.
And it's perfect. Look at it. It's fantastic.
For this movement, the PT5000. Now, normally, when you get a movement like that, it's not normally that good. You normally have to do some work to get it running that well. So it makes me think that Watch Gecko on assembly are actually calibrating the movements on the assembly. So they're doing the tweaking of the beat error and tweaking of the accuracy in the different orientations of the watch to get an overall best performance out of that specific movement in that specific watch. So yeah, that's good work for Watch Gecko, really. Not every company does that, and it's really annoying, and I go in and do it myself normally, but maybe a lot of people don't have that equipment or experience to do it. So for a company to go to that lengths to get the best they can out of the movements that they've put in there is really worth the money, I think. So I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the watch review. The Geckota G-02. This is the second generation of this watch.
They all have funny names, don't they?
Retro feel, brilliant quality, and yeah, really like it. That's staying in the collection for sure. I'll probably be buying more watches from Watch Gecko because I really like their designs and their philosophy and their style, and the company's small and local, so I like to support local companies as well. So yeah, for me it's all good.
I just called to say I love you.
So this is the end of the watch review. I'll put all the links down below and some bits and pieces of details down below so you can have a look. There'll be a lot more different reviews in the future. I've got slow motion turntables, black perspex, I've got lights and reflectors. And, you know, we're going to try and get some really nice shots of these kind of watches, but for basic review for now, that's what I can do. Okay, thank you very much, and look forward to all the reviews in the future. I have about 12 watches to review at the moment, so let's see how that goes. Okay, cheers, bye.